7. That is the number of times Caleb Williams dragged the Chicago Bears back from the dead last season. An NFL record for comeback wins. We saw the magic. We saw the NFC North title. And we finally saw a franchise find its Iceman. Not that we were looking for him. We didn't know we were looking for it. But we also saw the wall. When the pocket collapsed in the playoffs and defense couldn't get a stop without a Montez Sweat miracle, the season died. And that is why this week in Indy, it isn't just about 40-yard dashes. For Ryan Poles, this is the most dangerous week of his career. The saviors are gone. The cap is tight. And if the Bears don't hit on their picks this week, that championship window everyone is talking about, it might be shut before it even truly opens. Now let's talk reality. Ryan Poles has to be a surgeon this week. The Bears are sitting in the bottom 10 of league in cap space. To fix this roster, we're looking at massive veteran cap casualties. Names like DeAndre Swift or even Tremaine Edmonds are on the chopping block. So why does that matter for the combine? Because Poles in Indy searching for their cheap replacements. Every dollar he saves by drafting a guy like Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame is a dollar he can use to keep his own stars. And keep an eye on the safety room. The Bears currently have 0 safeties under contract for 2026. 0. He's not just scouting prospects, he's scouting the survival of his secondary. Then there's the trenches. Caleb was an eraser last year. That offensive line took a huge step in the right direction, but he made bad offensive left tackle play disappear. But he shouldn't have to. With Ozzie Trapillo's knee surgery casting a massive shadow over the left tackle spot, the medical exams in Indy are the most important documents in the Bears facility right now. If those medical reports come back red, Poles has to pivot. He might have to get aggressive and trade up from pick 25 to secure a franchise bookend like Spencer Fano or Monroe Freeling. You don't leave your Ferrari in a garage with a leaky roof. Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson are ahead of schedule. They won the North. They proved the doubters wrong. But the jump from playoff team to Super Bowl contender is the hardest leap in the professional sports. In 2024, they drafted for talent. In 2025, they drafted for depth. This year, they are drafting for the Lombardi. The Bears aren't looking for a savior anymore. They have him in number 18. Now they're looking for the help he deserves. So who is the one player you think Ryan Poles cannot leave Indianapolis without? Give me your Bears blueprint in the comments. Hit that subscribe button for live updates all week. And as always, bear down. Now, I'd love to get into it real quick. There's 2 guys that everybody around the league respects, and I'd love to talk about them. Mel Kiper's top 25. So the top 1 to 8, you've got your standard Fernando Mendoza. And the way that Mel Kiper does this is he ranks them how he thinks they're going to be drafted. Now, this list right here isn't exactly what I think, and I think Mel Kiper is actually off base on a lot of these things. See Fernando Mendoza, you could set your watch to that. Put $100 on it, you're going to make $9 back. Then you got Jeremiah Love, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Carnell Tate, Caleb Downs. All of those guys are all toss-ups. Throw in Ruben Bain on that one. Then you got your second tier, which is Sonny Styles, Jordan Tyson. And Jordan Tyson could fall even further than that. You've got Makai Lemon in there. You've got Spencer Fano. You got Jermod McCoy. But what are the Bears really looking for? And you could see on this list that this is completely wrong the way that we're looking at it. Now, the way that Mel Kiper does his list, again, is draft first, and then it's like skill. So you can see at 25, we've got Ty Simpson. Obviously, the Bears are not drafting a quarterback first round. That's got to be the dumbest thing that they could ever do. But you see guys like Zion Young jump all the way up to 22. You see Keldrick Falk drop all the way back to 20. A guy that I really want you to pay attention to, though, is Monroe Freeling. He's out of Georgia. He's an offensive tackle, and the guy is stacking positive gains. So when we go into this week, we're really going to be looking at a guy like him. So let's go over to the other guy, Todd McShay. Now, this is a guy that I very much respect. And the way that Todd does this is 1 to 25, the most talented. So again, you see Blake Miller at 25 over here. I don't think that we are going to go offensive tackle. I could completely be wrong, though, because in my opinion, it goes like this: defensive tackle, defensive end, safety, and then offensive tackle. That's why this week is such a big deal. Because if we go out there, we see Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is actually a stud. If he gets into 4.5 on the 40-yard dash, he will be a 17th overall pick, and we wouldn't even have a chance at him. But let's say, for instance, he does only run like, a 4.55. Now, that is no slouch, especially for a safety. He is a big dude. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. He's an absolute rock, and he's one of those defense changers. Now, if that happens and he falls to us after having a phenomenal week, we take him. But then you see right after him, you see TJ Parker, Peter Woods, you see Keldrick Falk. Those guys are guys that I would all be happy with. I don't think that we need the edge, and I do think that if I had my druthers, it would be defensive tackle and then safety. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is a guy that you do look at and you say, okay, best player on the board still. This is a guy that we could really start to work with. From here, though, some of the top guys that I was looking at aren't even on this list. It's a pretty short list. You see there's a running back, an edge, linebacker. But then when it gets to us, the Bears at 25, you start to really think, like Akeem Mesidor. He's a guy. He's 25 years old. That's his worst trait is his age. 25 years old. I don't think that is something that I would hold against him. Now we're going to see what his explosion looks like, the broad jump. We're going to see what his drills look like, with the edge rushers and defensive tackles. They do this drill where they essentially start on their chest, they pop up, they run backwards, they catch the ball, they run forward. We'll see his athleticism in that. And I think that Akeem Mesidor is really going to play himself into the top 15. I think that on other draft boards, you don't see that. Like, going back to Mel Kiper here, Akeem Mesidor is 24. Now, this is again like why I think that Mel Kiper is not good at this is because he's old-fashioned in the way that he thinks. I think that Akeem Mesidor, if he falls to the Bears, we take him with a smile on our face because he is a top 15 talent, and we are going to see that this weekend. So this is a quick recap. As always, bear down. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. As always, bear down.